guys, excited to welcome Matthew Cooke here today to share with us some body-based breakthrough, and we're going to just jump right into it. I know he's got a really cool activity prepared for us, so Matt, take it away.
So excited. Thank you so much, Tim. So yeah, we got about 30 minutes, y'all. So excited to dive right in. And I believe, is this how I share my screen, Tim? I think so. This button in this far left-hand corner.
Yes.
I think so.
Yep.
Sweet. Cool. Well, I will go ahead and do that. Let's get this guy up and running. So I'm going to just give you guys some context. I'm really excited to share with you guys body-based breakthrough and really talking about gaining wisdom from within. So obviously Patrick talked about having a presence practice, and very much so for me and for my clients, this is something that we use to allow for not only presence, but full engagement, as well as productivity and even staving off burnout. So there's a lot of things that go with this. So I'll just invite you guys to just take a few moments and just consider as we sort of orient to this activity that we're going to do today, which is this idea of where do you get your best ideas? Where do you get your best ideas? And I'll answer for you guys because we're not all getting a chance to chime in here, but a lot of people will say on long walks in the forest or on the beach, nice long drives, perhaps in the shower, or maybe even on the toilet. They're always really strange places. But the irony, or I should say the connecting through line about all of them typically is that there is some sense of turning off, of allowing the brain to just sort of mind wander, to allow for some spaciousness. So Henry David Thoreau even said, walking is a noble art, and the walking of which I speak has nothing in it akin to exercise. So it's not this bout of I'm going to get out, I'm going to walk, and I'm going to do this movement for the sake of getting a sweat on, but truly in and of itself is the enterprise and adventure of the day, which is what we're going to be talking about today, the body-based breakthrough. So even Albert Einstein, he said that you cannot solve a problem from the same consciousness that the problem was created. So in other words, if I have a problem at work, which a lot of us have problems at work that we come up against, that interestingly enough, by incubating those ideas, by incubating those challenges, those opportunities, and simply allowing them to rest in our consciousness while we go and do some other activity, while we rest or go into some type of solitude, ironically, is when some of our best innovations and creativity come forth. So, in fact, they did a study in 2011 in the Journal of Human Behavior and Graphic Design. They found that 16% of people get their best ideas at work. Guys, 16%. That means 84% of people are getting their ideas everywhere else. So the vast majority of us are not getting good ideas at work. However, if I was at this desk setup, I probably would get some pretty cool ideas. I like how minimalist it is. So here's a gentleman who a lot of us are probably familiar with, although you may not know it right now. This is Thomas Edison, the controversial inventor of the light bulb. So Edison had this amazing ability to gain massive ideas. He had a rule for himself. Every 2 weeks, he had to create a industry-changing invention, no joke, him and his team, and every 6 months to create a world-changing invention. And so the way he doing about this, because he was such an ideation machine, is the man would take a 15-minute nap every 2 hours. He'd take a 15-minute nap. So you can go ahead and you can see he's literally laying on his desk, and you can see right up by his head, he's got his pillow, and he also has papers. And so what Edison would do is he would actually write down the creative problem, so to say, that was on his mind, and or the thing he sort of wanted to unpack or process a little bit further, and then he would go ahead and he would take a nap. And there would be a moment in the sleep cycle where obviously our muscles start to go limp, and he would hold 2 metal ball bearings in his hand. And obviously at that phase of sleep, his muscles would start to go limp. those ball bearings would crash to the floor, sort of his alarm clock. And then he would wake up with the creative solution to his problem. Incredibly cool. Salvador Dali did this. Paul McCartney wrote the song Yesterday, coming up out of sleep, ironically enough. So there he is right there. So there's lots and lots of stories that go around this. Now, and that's part of why Tim brought me in, to be able to share with you guys Body-Based Breakthrough, because we have so many cool, powerful ideas that we're sharing as we think about hope for our globe and for our futures. And so I wanted to then share with you guys this idea here, is that we have 5 channels of experience. And I learned this from my teacher, Stephen Hoskinson and Mark Reed Smith. We have 5 channels of experience. One of them is it's an acronym. It's ISOMA. So I, which is image, right? So that's why I have this camera phone here. We have S, which is sensation, physical touch, right? O, which is orientation. M is meaning, so my thoughts. And then lastly, affect, which is my emotion. So we have a lot of channels, a lot of ways of experiencing the world. And many of us spend so much time in the meaning channel, in our thinking. We're doing a lot of thinking. And even in this summit, you're learning so many cool things. Now, obviously, you got to experience Dave Muntner playing the guitar, and you got to see Cassandra, and you got to do tapping with her, right? So you're getting other channels of experience, which is beautiful that Tim has woven that into this experience. And what I love about Body-Based Breakthrough today, what you're about to experience, is that we get an opportunity to experience all of those things when we properly consider our experience, right? When we let some of the thinking die down and let some of the sensation and imagery and all of these other pieces start to come up to the surface a little bit more. Some really powerful intuition can come through. So the other thing is just to say that a lot of processes are very top down. This is very bottom up. This is sort of the organic stuff that's sort of been sitting under the surface that maybe we might have been a little afraid to fully take hold of. So I'll briefly run through this. We could dive super deep into neuroscience, but basically there's these 2 different types of thinking. There's directed and undirected attention. It's kind of what it sounds like. Directed attention is when I'm focused very intensely on a subject matter. And undirected is when I'm just sort of allowing my mind to wander. Scientists would call this the default mode network of the brain, but just simply when I'm sleeping, when I'm daydreaming, when I'm on nice long walks on the beach, when I'm taking nice strolls or moving on a yoga mat, we may have different disparate ideas that might come together, and we get some really powerful thinking that's going to come from that. And then one of the last things I want to say here is to just relax, to just rest. Today is going to be really fun, what I'm going to share with you guys over the next 25, 30 minutes here. Simply this idea that as we just simply allow, as we decrease effort, we actually increase sensation and awareness. As we decrease effort, right? So instead of working really hard to figure out the answers and to really come to conclusions, what if instead I actually just kind of laid back a little bit? And by simply relaxing, I'm actually allowing my brain to work more efficiently, to actually come up with answers and solutions far beyond what my conscious mind could ever come up with. So I am now going to take you guys to the journal, and we're going to do some body-based breakthroughs. So for those of you watching, I want you to go ahead, find some carpeting on the floor. I'm going to stop the screen share here. And I'm going to have you go ahead and just find some space on your floor where you can move. And I want you to grab a journal. I want you to pull up a journal, pull up a pen, and I'm going to show you how to do this. So we're going to do some body-based breakthrough here. So, and Tim actually prompted that there's a really good headline that we can come up with. So just as Thomas Edison was thinking, how do I get the filament to work in the light bulb? right? Is like, what's that, man, like, what is the thing there, right? He had sort of a headline. That was his question. And so I want you to, in the top left-hand corner of your paper, I want you to write H, which is going to be headline. So very simply, just H. And on the far right-hand corner of that same page, so you're going to see an H and you're going to go all the way across. And I'm going to have you do, let's see, we got in the camera there. We're going to have you do DE. So H and DE. I'll explain what that means in a moment. DE. And so you got H and you got your DE across there. And then at the very, very bottom, I want you to write to do. To do. So maybe 2-3 lines from the bottom, to do. Not too difficult there. So the beauty here is this process is very simple. It's a presence process, just like Patrick said. But the complexity and the richness is going to come from you. So your headline, I'll have you go ahead and write it down right now. Your headline is going to be, what is my work to do in the world? What is my work to do in the world? So go ahead and jot that down. What is my work to do in the world? So when you're doing body-based breakthrough, anytime you do this, you can go home and do this anytime you want, even without my guidance. It's going to be in the form of a question. It's like, I really just want to get the answer. And sometimes it's a really meta question, and sometimes it's a very small little thing that you're working on. And then DE is desired experience. So the brain is very gestalt. It likes to pull ideas together. It likes to make sense of things. So how would I desire to feel about that? So maybe I want to feel clarity. Maybe I want to feel power, confidence, strength, right? These are all desired experiences. So you're going to have your headline is, what is my work to do in the world? Question mark. And then the desired experience can be whatever it is that you'd like to be experiencing around that. And then finally, at the very, very bottom, we have to do. So to do is pretty simple. We all know what to-do lists are. So I don't want to give you a ton of new things to do. But what I want is for you to consider that there is something called an inspiration horizon. So we have about 48 hours to take action on inspiration. Otherwise, it starts to fade. It starts to wane. So I'm sure you've experienced this, right? Where you have this amazing idea. It's just absolutely the greatest idea on a Sunday. By Wednesday, you haven't taken action. It's like, I mean, that was a good idea. Like maybe I'll get around to it, at some point, right? Or it's like it just keeps going in your to-do list over and over again, day after day after day, and you never really get around to it. So we find that there's a window within 48 hours that if I take action on inspired action or take action on inspiration, that there's a ball of momentum that just starts rolling, it starts snowballing down the hill, right? So I'm going to encourage you that once you're done today, we got about 15 minutes, that when we're done, you take this stuff and you transpose it into your calendar as send that text, send that email, have that conversation with that person, right? So that's it, guys. That's your headline, your desired experience, and then your to-do. So what I'm going to recommend as well, you don't have to share this with me, you don't have to share this with Tim, you don't have to share this with anybody. This is personal. This is totally for you. So if you originally think this is going to just be a very professional thing and it turns out being very personal, that's great too. It doesn't matter. So just to say this is all yours, you never have to share this with anyone. Go ahead, have your journal, set it right next to you, have it open, and even have your pen available and ready to write as well. So I'll literally just have you keep it open, set it down right next to you. And we're going to begin here with your knees wide. So go ahead. If you're not ready, let's get ready. Start to bring yourself to do this. Come on down to the floor and just let your abdominals fall in between your thighs. Just stretch your arms out in front of you. So we have our headline, we have our desired experience, and mentally we're going to actually just set that to the side for a moment. And we're just going to focus on our breath, focus on our body, focus on our presence here for a moment. So set your head down on the floor, let your arms rest. And while you're there, let your forehead melt into the floor. Let your shins melt into the floor. Let your abdominals even melt toward the floor. So arms stretched out in front of you. And just start to take some breaths. Notice where the pressure or the weight is in your shins. Notice where it is in your forearms. And I'll invite you to just, with your eyes closing down, start to take some deep breaths into your lower belly and lower back. I want you to imagine that there's a big blue balloon in your lower belly and lower back. And if you don't have your desired experience yet, or even fully have written your headline, that's okay. We'll get into that in a moment. So just allowing your belly to fill with breath. So just isolating just into your lower belly, lower back, even into your pelvis, filling it up with your breath. So even if you're not able to join us on the floor and you feel way more comfortable in a chair, you can still do this in a chair as well. So if you're in a chair, you can close your eyes and just simply feel the expansion of your breath into your lower belly, lower back, softening your pelvis. Beautiful. And then slowly feel that blue balloon fill up all the way now to your rib cage. So just finding it coming up to your rib cage and filling out your rib cage. Same idea. And if you're a woman, you might have a bra, so along your bra line. But for men, it's going to be right at your rib cage, just underneath your nipple line. Same idea, just filling in all four directions. So front and back, side to side. Now finally letting it float up in between your shoulder blades on your back and right behind your physical heart. Same idea. Filling up a cool big blue balloon. Just noticing which one feels easier today to breathe into, my lower belly, my rib cage, or my chest. Just noticing. Not trying to change anything, just simply noticing. Then I want you to just go back to a natural cycle of breath. So just allowing the breath to just be normal again. Notice if you're breathing a little bit more easily in any one position. And then I want you to consider, what are my desired experiences around the work that it is that I am here to do on this planet? And that could just be being the most amazing mama for your kids. Could be building a multi-billion-dollar empire, right? Could be working at a roller skating rink. It really doesn't matter what your work is to do to anybody else, but simply, what is my work here to do on the planet? What change am I here to bring about potentially? So as that desired experience bubbles up to the surface, gently make your way to your journal, and right underneath DE, I want you to write down 2 or 3 desired experiences. And then once you've wrapped that up, I want you to come back to this posture for one more moment, with your arms stretched out in front of you, forehead to the floor. Then glide your palms underneath your shoulders and press up to all fours or tabletop, so that your wrists stack right underneath your shoulders, knees right underneath your hips, and then drop your belly, lift your chest, even separate your sit bones back behind you, so big, tall chest. And then exhale, press the floor away and curl in. Inhale, drop your belly, shoulders down your back as you lift your chest. And then exhale again, curl. You can either have your toes untucked or tucked, up to you. Inhaling. And then close down your eyes, exhale as you curl in. Just focusing on your breath as you move back and forth. And then once you have your eyes closed, just focusing on all of the muscles along the sides of your spinal column. Everything that just simply allows you to move gracefully throughout your day. Just considering all of the wonderful things your spine allows you to do. Your next inhale, look in between your thumbs, and exhale, come to a neutral spine. Now I want you to imagine there's a magnet between your right shoulder and your right hip. So start to hug in the right shoulder to right hip, and then inhale back to center, and exhale left shoulder to left hip. So again, now we're just focusing on the body, inhaling back to center, exhale right shoulder to right hip. So we're effortlessly weaving the mind and the body together, going from side to side. And again, close down your eyes once you feel like you have the movement. And we're just stretching out the sides of the body. Inhaling back to center. Exhale off to the side. So we're weaving, intentionally weaving the breath into the body as well. The glue between the mind and the body. Take one more breath there. And then as you come to center, look in between your palms again and exhale. Awesome. And now I want you to inhale your right arm high to the sky. So right arm really high. And then exhale, glide it in between your left wrist and left knee. Bring your shoulder to the floor and temple to the floor for a twist. So press both of your shins into the floor as well. Press your left palm into the floor. And then close down your eyes. And I want you to just consider your desired experience. Just let that flow through your awareness, just letting it flow through for a moment. If anything bubbles up to the surface, you can gently make your way to your journal and start jotting down any notes or thoughts that you may have. Take a couple more breaths here. On your next inhale, press through your left palm, come back to center. I'll just simply switch sides. So this time, left arm high to the sky. And then exhale, gliding it in between, twisting, shoulder, temple to the floor, other side. Same idea. Just breathing, close down your eyes. And this time, I want you to just simply allow that headline to just gently rumble through your awareness. Just like a cloud passing through the sky. What is it that I am meant to do on this planet? What is my work to do in this world? And again, just breathing evenly and deeply. A couple more deep breaths. And again, if anything comes to mind, you gently make your way to your journal. Just jot anything down that you got. So in interest of time, gently press through your palm, come back up to center. And I want you to just come all the way to your back. Come all the way to your back. Hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a really big squeeze. Give yourself the hug you've wanted to receive all week. And then slowly extend your legs forward in front of you for relaxation. So just let your arms come down to the side. Close down your eyes. And let the body rest. Nothing to do, nowhere you need to be. As you rest, just simply allowing your headline to just float through your awareness just for a few moments. Not trying to do anything. And as you soften your body deeper and deeper, leaning into the floor, I want you to ask your body, what wisdom do you have for me today? What wisdom do you have for me today? And really gently, when that bubbles up to the surface, roll over to your journal and start to jot down what comes to mind. What wisdom do you have for me today? And just take the next 2 minutes and just write and write and write, and I'll let you know when to stop. Question being, what can I lean into even more? What is it that I know that I know that I know to be true about my work in the world? All right, I'll let you wrap up for right now. This is just the smallest little taste of body-based breakthrough, but I want you to then circle anything that you may have written down that seems actionable, or as you look through what you wrote down, what is it that I can really take into the next day or two? What's the next action step? What's just the very next step? Once you have that, write that in the to-do section. And then I invite you to go to your calendar after we hang up for this call today and go ahead and take action on that most aligned breakthrough for yourself. Awesome. Thanks so much, Tim.
Thank you. And this is just a short window into all the amazing stuff that you do. So where can people find out more about body-based breakthrough and the work you're doing?
Yeah,
Follow you.
thank you, Tim. I'd recommend going to MatthewCooke.com, which Tim had a huge piece in being a part of building that awesome website. And on there, I actually have something called the Calm the Chaos Kit. So I know for Tim, it's like, hey, don't freak out. And that is what he is so beautiful of sharing in the world. And so Calm the Chaos Kit can be a really beautiful companion to not freaking out, to calm the chaos. So in that kit, there's a breakthrough anxiety meditation, and then a short worksheet to be able to take action moving forward. So
awesome. Well, thank you so much, Matt. Really appreciate you delivering in such a great way here.
Sounds good, brother. Thanks so much, Tim.
I'll
Thanks,
see you
everyone.
soon.
Talk to you soon.